everybody. Sorry it's taken me a little longer to get this video out. Just been a lot of stuff going on. So here we are. Alright, ready to go here. So what I want to do in this part is I want to give a simple definition of what faith is. And then I want to show you two Greek words that when I saw the connection between these two Greek words, actually the word faith and believe, I'll show you here in just a second. It really impacted me personally, and hopefully it will you. It'll help you understand faith. Because as I said previously, you know, I was a Christian for a long time and really had no idea what faith actually was. And the example I used, I'll use it again. I have my cell phone here. Most all of us have one of these. Some of us don't, but most of us do. And we use it every day. We don't leave home without it. But we don't have any idea how it really works. Or what it, you know, I mean, we know it's a cell phone, but I don't know how I push buttons here and send a thing and it sends a text across the world or wherever I send it. So anyways, I found faith to be a similar thing. I mean, as Christians, we're saved by faith, by grace through faith. But hopefully we'll have a little bit more of a clarity as to what it actually is. And we'll learn, basically, that that our heart attitude, either you can hinder yourself in growing in faith, and hopefully that'll make sense here by the time we're done, because faith is not an automatic. That's obvious, or I think that's obvious. I hope that's obvious. All right, so let me get in here. I want to read for you Hebrews 11:1, which probably most of us have heard this before. If you've never heard this before, then here you go. This is Hebrews. This is the book of Hebrews, chapter 11, verse 1, in the New Living Translation. It says, faith shows the reality of what we hope for. Faith shows the reality of what we hope for. It is the evidence, I love that, of things we cannot see. It shows the reality of what we hope for. It is the evidence of things we cannot see. Now, most people, when they talk about faith, they don't think about evidence. But Hebrews 11:1 says faith is the evidence of things we can't see. All right, let me not get ahead of myself. Okay. I want to do something that I did. I did actually had one opportunity to preach a message about this whole thing. But when I was studying this, so back in 2021, kind of in the middle of COVID, is when I get into this. I started studying faith and ended up studying it for about a year. It's pretty, I mean, and I don't think I exhausted it, but anyways, I did this study of faith for a year, and while I was studying it, because when I study, I use different translations of the Bible, and I just, I almost, it wasn't intentional, but as I read different translations of the Bible, I just took a few of them and kind of put them all together. And I want to read you here what I put together. Okay, this is the New American, and this is not the entire Hebrews 11:1 in each translation, but it's the words that those translations use in defining faith. I just read you the New Living. I'm going to read you the New American, the New Living, the Message, and the NIV. So I took all four of those translations, and I pulled out the key words, if you will, and I put them all together. And here's what this really impacted me. And I've done this before, but let me do it again for anyone who hasn't maybe hasn't watched the previous ones. I would encourage you to watch these in order because they're going to build on each other. I'm going to build it as we go. So, but anyway, so here is, let me just read this. Faith is the assurance, the reality, the fundamental fact of existence, being sure of what we hope for in God. It's the conviction, the evidence, the firm foundation, being certain of what we cannot see. Let me read that again. Faith is the assurance, the reality, the fundamental fact of existence, being sure of what we hope for in God. It is the conviction, the evidence, the firm foundation, being certain of what we cannot see. Now, I don't know how that hits you, or if it hits you at all, but that hit me hard. It hit me hard for several different reasons. I don't even know fully why it hit me so hard. But I guarantee you, most people, when they think about faith, they don't use the word reality. They don't use the word evidence. Okay? And what I just read you, faith is the assurance, the reality, the fundamental fact of existence, being sure of what we hope for in God. It is the conviction, the evidence, the firm foundation, being certain of what we cannot see. Whammo! I hope that at the very least makes you think. Okay? Because here's one of the key things that I've learned is faith is like love. It's real, but it's intangible. Faith is like love. It's real. It's as real as anything. But it's intangible. You can't see it. You've never seen love. You've never seen love. Ever. You've seen love expressed. You know when someone is loving toward you, you know when they're not loving toward you. So just, this is where critics, forgive me, I'm out in the cabin here and it's pretty cool. I should have brought my hoodie. It's beautiful out here, but it's kind of cool. Critics want to dismiss faith as if it's not scientific. Okay? They want to dismiss faith as if it's not scientific. And it's not the kind of a thing that you can examine scientifically. Okay? But I love, and when I get into these, I do prepare. I spend a lot of time actually thinking, praying, putting things together. But then when I get in these things and I do them, I just go with what's in my heart. So here you go. Okay? I love what C.S. Lewis is one of my favorite people. One of my favorite dead people, although he's not really dead. But his definition of theology. Okay, I love his definition of theology. C.S. Lewis's definition of theology is the science of God. The science of God. Now some of you, that may make you short circuit. Because when you think of science and you think of God, you can't see, you literally can't see that one came from the other. Okay? Like, you can't see that. In other words, the natural world came from somewhere. Okay? It's absolute nonsense. It's absolute nonsense to think that everything that we know as the natural world came from nothing. Okay? I hope you don't believe that. I really do hope you don't believe that, because if you do, you believe absolute nonsense. You believe something that is scientifically impossible. Okay? Nothing from nothing equals nothing. So, and I'm just going to go with it here, okay? If there was ever a time when there was absolutely nothing, what would there be now? Nothing. Okay, that's logic. That's logic. Anyways, let me get back. I don't want to get too far into that, but faith is a real thing. It's just not tangible. There's oxygen in this room right now. I can't see that oxygen, but I would know if it wasn't here. If there was no oxygen in this room, I would know in a hurry. Okay, all right. Okay, so let me. Here's what I want to do. I'm going to give you I'm going to define for you two Greek words in the New Testament. One is the word for faith. So if you look in the New Testament and you look at the original language, which is in Greek, the Greek word for faith in our English Bibles, it's translated faith, but in Greek the word is pistis, Pistis. Pistis. And here's what it means. This is very important. This is very simple, which is why I've entitled this vlog the way I've entitled it, because it's very simple, but it's very important. Okay? Pistis means to win over or persuade. To win over or persuade. So just stop for a second and just think with me. The word faith means to win over, to win someone over, or to persuade someone. That's the word faith. That's pistis. Now, in the New Testament, the word believe is a word pisteo, I think you pronounce it. It's spelled Pisteuo. Pisteuo. It means to trust. To trust. Now get this, don't miss this, because I don't know if you ever see, if you text with me at all, I use a lot of emojis, but I use this emoji with the guy's head going, pew, you know, blew his mind. Okay, when I saw this, it blew my mind. The word pistis is the root word of the word believe. Now, when you think about it, it actually makes sense. Okay? That the word faith, the word pistis, to win over or persuade, would be the root word of the word that was in the New Testament that says believe. Be persuaded. Be easily won over and persuaded of what's true. All right. So again, let me just go over that so you don't miss this. Pistis, the word faith in the New Testament is the word pistis. It means to win over or persuade. The word believe is the word pisteo. The root word pistis is the root word of pisteo, believe. So the root word of the word believe is to, in the pisteo means to trust. The root word is the word faith. I mean, when I saw that, I'm like, duh, of course that makes sense. Okay, I got to wrap this up because I think my battery's dying and I want to get this all in one. Okay, one more quick thing I want to give you is Luke. Real quick, tell you the story. Actually, let me do this first. Here's a question I want you to think about. How easy is it for God to persuade you of something? Are you persuadable? Are you open to Him? Are you open to His Word? Are you open to the hope that He wants to give you in your heart? Because remember, faith is evidence of hope. And if you're missing hope in your heart, God wants to give you hope. I don't care what your circumstances is. Our hope comes from God. It's not based on our circumstances, but sometimes we feel hopeless. That we feel hopeless because we haven't been persuaded. We haven't been persuaded in our hearts. Okay, let me give you this story because I really don't want to have to edit this. Okay, let me give you this story. So it's the story of it was two disciples. Jesus had died, been buried, and the disciples were grieving and mourning, and the rumors hit that Jesus, they couldn't find his body. The women went to the tomb and found his body gone. Of course, the women saw Jesus there, so there's the rumors are buzzing about, is Jesus alive? Is he not alive? All that kind of thing. And so Luke 24. This is a fascinating story. I want to make this brief so I don't lose my battery here. But basically, these two guys are walking along thinking about all this stuff that's happened, and Jesus shows up with them. And it says he talks to them, and he asks them the great question, what are you talking about? And they're like, don't you know what's going on in town? This is in Jerusalem. And then it says that Jesus took the time and walked through all the scriptures, showing them the different things about the Messiah. And then he says this, and I want to leave you with this, in hopes that, we all can be this way, but I don't want to be this way anymore. This is Luke 24:25. This is Jesus talking. How foolish you are, and how slow of heart to believe. All the prophets have spoken. Did not the Christ have to suffer these things and enter into his glory? Man, I don't want God to have to say this to me. I know we all can be this way, slow of heart to believe. But I encourage you, man, ask God to give you a heart that's open. People say they're open, but are they really open? Man, we Christians ought to be open to God, open to his promises, open to his truth, so that we can grow in faith and walk by faith. We're supposed to walk by faith, and that's an ongoing, growing thing. Your faith in a year should not be the same as it is today. And I'm going to end it right there. There's so much more to say. Thank you. I appreciate you taking the time to watch this. Hopefully it's been helpful. I really don't know how long this is going to be. It's going to be as long as it takes. And I don't know how long it's going to take. And there's a whole lot of stuff to get through. So I'm going to be as thorough as I know how, because this is so important. So thank you so much for watching. God bless. Have a great day.
And you're calling me out.